Chickity check. 1 2 video games in the building. What it do? What it do? People in the building already. My peeps. Make sure my lighting seems a little off, but I'm gonna deal with it for now. Let me go to these comments because I know you guys have been waiting for a little bit. First in the building, FIFA player. What it do? My thumbnails. I'm working on them. FIFA. I'm working on them. I got time. I'm trying to mess around with some. Thank you for appreciating them, calling out to be smooth. Daniel, big up Vader. I need a lawyer. Can I hire you, my friend? I do pro bono, so yes, you can hire me. But if it is at my rate, no. But I do pro bono. Big Morgan in the building. Time to lawyer up, boys. Hey, we know City's going to do things correctly, and again, a lot is on the line, so they're going to do things right. But yeah, lawyering up is a must. YSK, let's go. Thank you for being in the building. Andy's in here, my guy. Abdallah, what it do, my guy? Andy, what you saying? Haha, Vader, you suited up. You ready to get called up by the City legal team? Like I said, I'm ready if they need me. Trust me. City forever. I'm ready if they need me, but I'm sure they're in very good hands. I've had to represent and do my own type of legal representation for the club in many spaces recently. So thank you for the appreciation, my people. All right, I've got to make sure things are good. My lighting does seem a little off, but I'm okay. We got a show, and like I said, we are live. If you're coming here from Twitter, thank you so much. Continue to like my tweets, retweet them. It does a lot. It does a tremendous amount of good. And if you're coming through because you subscribe to the channel and you get the notifications, Vader thumbnail, he's about to do something later on this week. Thank you again. It means the world to me. Again, I'm not a hardcore content creator. I diary my love for football, my love for City, and this is how I chose to do it. So I appreciate and love you guys for being in the chat and helping with this show. Daniel goes right off the bat, I want to take Chelsea to court. I need a lawyer, Vader. They paid Pep not to play a DM in the UCL final. I need a UCL trophy back. Daniel, I don't know if there's grounds. I don't know if there's grounds to really go after Chelsea based off of those terms. But you need me. We can craft something and we can get a very good strategy going. Martin in the building. Evening, my guy. Martin is going to get a chance to be on the show later on. I'm excited to have the conversation with him. He goes, we're going back to League Two. Ha ha. Hey, the chants or the drafts, the rough edits with regards to some future chants are hilarious. I've been seeing them on the timeline, and I am so for it. I'm with that humor. I love it. Yo, what happened to the suit? What happened? It wasn't a rental, man. It wasn't a rental. Look, you see me. I can't wear the same suit the same day. This is a new day, my guy. All right, this is a new day. We're good. Nice drip, Vader. Thank you, man. Thank you. Ali, we got it going. So, first things first, my peoples come first. And my peoples, you see the topics right there on the screen. Not only that, you know that I'm going to blessed with panel members to come through and have the conversation, not only with them, but with you. So thank you. All those comments in the chat, I'm going to do my best to stay up to speed, keep you guys involved. I'll bring you up on screen. I may not say it out loud for those that sometimes listen to the show and not necessarily watch it, but I'll do my best. And on top of that, we have a lot to address. So I'm going to get into it because I don't want to keep you guys waiting. I know there's a lot of content out there, and I just want to be within the mix as well. So let's keep this popping. And I got to do this officially. For me to do it officially, you know what I have to do officially. And first, I have to. You know what I have to do. I have to show you a little bit of where I'm from, where this all kind of originated from. So here we go. Man, That's a little bit of the famous Yonge Street out here in Toronto. You saw the skyline from Toronto Center Island. But yeah, let's go. I can't say it enough. Those of you in the chat, those of you that are going to be watching the show, supporting it, tremendous support, amazing support. I love how 2023 has been going, despite all the craziness. I love how 2023 is going with regards to the football fan love that's happening, as well as the city love that's happening. I love what's going on here. So let's get into this conversation real quick. And I can't delay any longer. Let me get this last comment before I get into it. Barton also goes, we cheat when we want. We cheat when we want. We're Man City. We cheat when we want. Again, these chants aren't going anywhere. There's going to be $1 billion in the bank. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. Manchester City humor at its fullest. Now, before I get into these topics, and you see the list there, I got to address what happened on the pitch first and foremost. Okay? First and foremost, what happened on the pitch with our match against Tottenham, against the Spurs at Tottenham Stadium. I know it seems like that was a lifetime ago, but that was our last match. And I know a lot's been in the news. I know a lot's been going on, but we still have to reflect on how our team's performing and how our team is dealing with the opposition and themselves. That result, first and foremost, disgusting. I get that the team played. Pep did his thing with regards to the 11 other channels that have done the post-match. You guys have consumed that already. But I want to talk about not only just that starting 11, but even Pep making his subs and the result that we ended up having. Because again, to be clear, it was a mistake by Rodri in this case, but it was a mistake that resulted in 1 goal. We'll accept that, okay? We played them at home and we had 2 mistakes that resulted in 2 goals, but we fought back. We got a result. I believe that it's really easy. It's really easy to just say Tottenham Stadium curse continues, and that's why things ended up the way they did. But it's more than that, guys. It's more than that. We're seeing our team miss cues. We're seeing our team not be sharp. We're seeing our team, dare I say, in many instances, not play for each other, not fight for every grain of grass out there. And I know I've said this before. If you've seen me on other channels, if you've seen me featured on other channels, you've heard me say this before. There's a lack of hunger. There 100% is a lack of hunger, but I'm not putting that on this. What I'm putting on this is just fight. Just fight. That Tottenham game, I saw too many instances in the midfield where we were just being outmuscled on the ball. I saw too many instances where we weren't going as fully into some of the 50-50s as we should be, right? And I need to see that changed. I need to see that changed because that reflects in a positive way on offense when we are aggressive defensively or without possession, okay? Now, going down 1 goal in the first half, we should demand better, right? We should demand instances where we're going to be threatening, and we were. And I'm not going to take anything away from the rest of the team on how aggressive they were and how they looked for their opportunities. But I do want to stress this. Because of that performance, we gave Kane at home the chance to be celebrated, right? He's obviously set the record for most goals scored at one club, and obviously for Tottenham, right? I believe that was the record. Obviously, he's the record scorer for Tottenham, but I think he's the record scorer for any one player at one club. And I hated that was on our watch. I hated that was against us, right? We set records against others. We don't want records set against us, right? Like that's not how we want to be remembered or how we want our legacy to be. And I hated the fact that it happened while we were playing them. I see the comments out here, and I'll put those up, and I promise I will stay on topic. Daniel goes allegedly cheated. Yes, great distinction, Daniel, 100%. But I want to stress that. Oh, I love that play. I want to stress that we should have had a better showing. Kane getting his goals, one thing, because once that happens, can't erase it. But how we respond to take away that being a record-setting goal to then not being a winning game, right? That's the fight that I hated not seeing from City. And when you have a player like Harry Kane, you know how threatening he is. You know how his game has evolved. He drops into the midfield. He's more comfortable on the ball. He's holding off defenders, and he's actually playing passes. He's not only scoring goals, but he's creative. But when you see a player like that playing against you, you then look at your own team. You then look at the players that you have, right? You then look at my striker. And this is where I want to get to and say, Haaland in particular, yes, Jack Grealish had a strong performance, right? He was attacking. He was very aggressive. He won a lot of fouls. He was recycling the ball efficiently. Took a few shots that he needed. But Haaland deserves an apology from every single player that played that day. I'm not going to do the breakdown. I love to do the breakdown when I happen to have Martin or Carl Gundalorian on the channel, Don Smoke as well. And I can do that at another time. I'm not going to do that now because I do want to stay within the topics here. But every City player every City player should be apologizing to Haaland because he deserves an apology. I watched if you go back, and I wrote this down, 34 seconds into the game, all right? Go back. 34 seconds into the game, Bernardo Silva with the ball. He has an opportunity. He's in the midfield. He's driving ball to foot, very close contact. He has Mahrez on his right, and he has Haaland directly in front of him, a few yards out. In between, he's got great space between defenders. We need to change this. I was stressing this at the start of the season when I saw Foden take two chances with sharp angles on the side where he could have squared the ball to Haaland. This is a different instance. This is an instance where through build-up play or through a transition, Silva has a chance to play a ball, and he just needs to play the ball into space and give Haaland that chance, that opportunity to make a play. We don't take it. 34 seconds into the game. Then later in the game, I wrote it down, 2:04 in the same game. Similar instance. We have a chance to play the ball. I believe it's Walker plays the ball to Alvarez where Walker could have played a ball to Haaland. It wasn't a risky pass. We had enough players to be able to defend if the pass didn't get there, but we didn't take it. This is what I want us to change as a team. From the very beginning of the season, I was stressing this with Foden, and he corrected himself. But as a whole, it can't just be KDB that's looking for these passes. It can't be early in the season when Gundogan was looking and playing those passes. Every player needs to know Haaland is occupying two center backs. Play him the ball. It causes so many problems. And when I get a chance, not on this show, but when I get a chance, and I talked to Gundalorian, talked to Carl, I talked to Martin, I'm going to ask them as a center back, okay, whether how you're coaching your center backs or even talking to center backs in particular, what is it that they hate doing? What makes a center back uncomfortable? What would they rather do versus what they are fearful or reluctant to do? I believe it is marking a player that's making those runs often throughout a game. You have to impose a threat, so they have to play it. You have to impose a threat, so they have to respect it. Because then everyone reacts to it. Then the midfield they're preoccupied because they have to respect that. Then left backs and right backs have to also continue to help because they know of the threat. It's going to create space. And Let me go to these comments. I see you guys in the comments. Let me go to them. But this game in particular just reminded me. We have Haaland on our team. We have Harry Kane on the other side. We know that Haaland is going to want to put on a show. We know that Haaland is going to be like, yeah, you're getting your praise, you're getting your recognition, but I'm the next one up. I'm the man that's been scoring and slapping in this league. He didn't get that chance. You look at the stats and they're disgusting. Those stats are disgusting. Let me go to these comments and I'll continue on. I'm sorry I let these go for a bit. Player showing love to Martin. Edison back in the building, my AC Milan fan. We got to talk. Edison, we got a lot to talk about. So much drama in your league. Hey, I mean, there's drama in my league too, but we'll talk about that later. Player goes, give that man a statue when we beat the case. Hey, player, we'll get there. We'll get there. Edison goes, how do you feel about the infamous Aguero goal now meaning nothing? Edison, like I've said, these are alleged breaches. Nothing has been determined at this time. I would respect you and many others to not label City as cheats, not label City as wrongdoers until the process has accurately or appropriately run its course. Thank you. Blue Heart goes, good evening, Mr. Vader, and all you boys. Blue Heart in the building. Thank you, my friend. I know if you happen to miss it, I had a chance to feature on HH, better known as Have Hope Football Hut, and we had a great show. Shout out to HH. He had me on the show. Again, typical Manchester City humor. We found the positive. We found the humor in obviously a difficult situation. And that's where all this lawyer type talk is coming from. So I hope you appreciate it. Go and check it out. I tweeted. Hopefully you're following me on Twitter, but you see what I posted. I posted one of the clips to it. Let me continue on. We go, Ali in the building goes, Edison, what team do you support? All right, I got to that already. YSK. True Jack had a good performance. Haaland, on the other hand, never received anything. And that's my point, YSK. That is my point. It's absolutely... We can't do that. We can't be a team. We can't be a team that's not looking to over-service Haaland. I would rather Pep being like, guys, don't force it to Haaland. I'd rather that be the case rather than the opposite in terms of him telling players, reminding players, look for the big man. Look for the man that demands so much attention. There's no way any respectable football fan, anyone that's watching City play, if you happen to be a person that follows the ball, cool. But if you glance, I glance like KDB. I'm looking over my shoulders. I'm scanning the pitch all the time. I'm like KDB out there when I'm watching on TV, right? I'm seeing where the ball is. I'm seeing where the players are. I'm seeing where the ball is. I'm seeing where the players are. I'm constantly doing that. And when you do that and you look, the ball's here in the midfield and you see what Haaland's doing, he deserves opportunities to get a pass. He deserves opportunities to get something thrown to him. Whether it's a pass lobbed over, whether it's a ball on the ground, he deserves an opportunity because he's demanding so much attention. And we're already seeing that when the ball is being played over top, he's controlling it. He's playing it. He's putting it back into play. He's sending it off to the wingers, and he's looking to run in those channels. They're not looking for him. It's incredibly frustrating. I'm going to bring in Martin real quick. He's backstage. Let me get these comments. Daniel goes, Vader, I don't think we'll get relegated. No chance. But if we would fill our stadium, even in the championship, I think this fan base will stay loyal. City till I die. Daniel, I agree. Whether we get relegated or not, we'll wait and see. Whatever the punishment happens to be, we will deal with it. But as a fan base, there's no example, there's no thought, there's no dream or nightmare, however you want to put it, that I don't see our fan base supporting the club and being even stronger from it. there's not one example that I don't see us galvanize off of this attack that's coming from outside. I'm going to bring Martin into the mix and continue with these comments. Thank you so much for being on the show today, Martin, on camera as well. Thank you, my friend. How you doing?
Going down with $1 billion in the bank. Can't wait. Let's go. Hey, just
going down with
by
$1 billion in the...
what with the championship we go to, we've got to go all the way back to League Two if we get relegated.
Yeah, there's series.
We've got to go all the way to the bottom and go all the way back again. Because apparently the championship won't let us in either. Because it's not, this is what people need to remember, it's not relegation, it's expulsion. It's not relegated, it's expulsion, meaning we have to do what Rangers did and go all the way back to the bottom again. But listen, ain't going to happen. Ain't going to happen. This isn't even going to a court, mate. This is not even going anywhere. This will be sorted out very quietly.
I like... I love that. I love that.
Too much politics involved. Too much
politics involved. Tremendous. And I don't want to steal any thunder from your upcoming content. I'm wearing a hat
because you can see my hair. That's why there's a hat on at the moment.
No worries, man. No worries. Let me continue with these comments. Ali goes, Tottenham beat us in their own stadium all the time, but against other teams, they don't show any passion. Does that not go back to this whole? There's some little curse. There's something going on here. I can't make sense of it. Because it's not only losses. It's not scoring.
No,
it's not scoring.
It is what it is. Listen, so, we went 40 years and never won at the Swamp and all this rubbish, and now it's just one of them things. There's no curse. Yeah, Torre's not stuck curse on stadiums on the way out. Come on.
Yaya happens to be on the coaching staff over there, so I'm not going to put one and one together and make two. But
stay there.
But there's something going on. Twisted in the building. Pep saw the players not using Haaland. Why wasn't he subbed off? Twisted. He did see the players that weren't channeling passes to him, but it's not to take Haaland off. It's actually to give those players instructions. Haaland was not doing anything wrong that game. I would argue that it's like many players, they want to be involved in play, and you don't want to only be involved in play when you're playing the ball back from a cleared out long pass from your keeper. That can't be the only touch you get. And also, when you're making runs, threatening runs that are being missed, it can be draining. It can be tiring. It can take a little bit of gas out of that tank because you've made that run 10 times and they didn't find you. But I'm sure Pep is on them and talking about how they need to play completely, absolutely as a team. Big Morgan in the building goes, Martin, be positive, please. I don't know Martin to be anything other than positive. He's realistic, depending on the emotion of the match.
Sarcastic.
Yes, definitely sarcastic.
I'm ranking him. What do you want me to be?
Yeah, of course. But he'll be Big Morgan. He's a positive guy. FIFA. Then we win League 2. 1 champ, then back in the Prem. It's a process. I will be there the entire way. Can you imagine?
Don't even get that. We're not.
We're not getting there. We're not getting there.
I'll tell you exactly how I think this ends.
Okay. Well, we will get there. Let me get man. And I love the interaction, guys, in the comments. FIFA fresh trim.
No, that's tomorrow. I am going for a haircut tomorrow. It's desperately required. I am going bald. I understand that.
Do you go to the same barber every time? You got a guy.
Yeah.
You got to be loyal.
And I'll tell you the guy who owns Mary D's.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Martin and
guy
Martin
used to own Keogh's nightclub in Failsworth.
Martin with the connection.
His dad owns Mary D's.
Edison with a question. Edison is my guy from IEGA time. This is the FIFA league that we played in. We battled. We've had some serious battles. Edison looking to see how Blaze is. Blaze is okay, man. He's probably on cloud 9 with his Arsenal love. I haven't. We haven't gamed in a minute though. His schedule's been tough, but he's good. FIFA player. I'd give Kev 3 more weeks of rest. Whoa. You know what? I didn't think of that conversation with regards to players, but that's a great topic. I don't think it's a matter of KDB needing that amount of rest. I think it's a level of consistency with maybe player instructions and team approach. But yeah, Blue Heart, there is a backstory with their owners being Jewish and our owners being Muslim. Not an issue for me, but it and something in my opinion. What's that referring to? I think I missed that one. Blue Heart. Can someone tell me? Can someone tell me why Diaz is exiled from the team? Hey, Clinical. Thanks for being on the show. We know that Diaz suffered an injury. He was mending his way back. He was getting back into the form. Many would say if he's on the bench, he's ready to play. That's not always the case with Pep. He's done some cameos, right? Like Diaz I think, came onto the pitch once or twice since being injured. He hasn't started a game, but that's a very good question. We'll get into that. All right, and then I'm going to pause the comments for a bit, and then I'm going to get into the rest of the show. There are really people who think it's a coincidence that the Premier League tried to change us one day before the white paper release. Very true, very true. They obviously don't want the financial regulator. It stinks. Daniel, fantastic point. You know what? Guess who was the first club to say no to this super league? Guess which club was reluctant and didn't want to join? City. Guess which is the only club that has said, yes, we want an independent regulator? You guessed it, Daniel, and everyone in the chat. It's City. It's City. These clubs that are all wanting City kicked out, that have all not wanted City at the table, are the ones that also don't want an independent regulator. City does, and you have to ask the question why. You have to ask the question why. But I'm not. Again, this show I want to keep it I wanted to keep it at an hour because I want it short and concise, and I love the flow that we're having here. There's also going to be content from True City Fan. There's going to be content from the Mancunian Way that we're going to be touching on all these subjects. And what I love, what's kind of just transformed naturally, is that we all our content all kind of feeds into each other. We get to have conversations here. We get to have conversations, True City Fan Pitch Points, as well as the Mancunian Way, and it all flows. So thanks for being a part of it here. We're at the almost the 30-minute mark. So let me get to the remainder of these topics. Thank you so much, guys. Now, Haaland deserves his apology. We all agree to that. He deserves an apology. Coming out of this, and it was said earlier that Twisted mentioned Pep should have taken Haaland off the pitch as a correction. No. I think where Pep is learning what he can get out of the team, what he can get out of the players, is putting them in different formations and having different instructions. We know the laundry list of what Pep's done: inverted fullbacks and no right winger at times, playing KDB out there. He's actually played Cancelo at right wing. There's been so many different changes, not only with regards to the formation and the instructions, but even the back line, right? So Pep's been doing the experiments. Let's all hold hands. Let's all sing Kumbaya to calm each other down. Pep is going to continue to experiment, guys. Pep is going to continue to do that. We know that he's trying to find the plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D for oppositions that we're going to be facing throughout the remainder of the year. He doesn't wait until it's put in front of him. He tests them out before they happen. It works out for us sometimes. In some instances, it doesn't. But this Pep, let's understand, Pep will continue to experiment, and we just have to be patient for it. All I want him to now course correct from a experiment standpoint, and I'm going to ask you this, Martin, is should any experiment not include feeding Haaland and getting Haaland in the most threatening scoring positions?
No.
So
What you've got to do is you've got to try and play to his strengths, which we're still trying to figure out at the moment. It makes me laugh though, because we've always said down the years, it takes a year, a bit longer for some players to get into the Pep Guardiola system. And we've hit the panic button after 5 months, 6 months on this system's wrong, blah, 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 blah. I feel like I'm a broken record sometimes. Mate, I apologise. You're going to hear the exact same thing again on here. We know what he's doing. Pep's explained what he's doing.
yeah,
We're now playing with the number 9. To play that number 9, you have to take out a midfielder. So to bring that midfielder back in, you take someone out from the back line to go into the midfield to play your 3-2-2-3 or your 3-box-3, whichever one you want to do. And also, I don't think we expected certain players to down tools like they have. That's just the way it is. Certain players have thrown the toys out the pram. And it's not just João Cancelo, it is other people, and you just get on with it. And we know there's other issues with other players that I won't go into out of own privacy and everything else. But at the end of the day, we're second.
Mm-hmm.
I'm totally happy with all this. I mean, to me, if we weren't top goal scorers in the league, if we weren't second, if we didn't have the third best defence, do you know what? Yeah, I can see people having a bit of a meltdown. But Pep's always experimented. When has Pep not experimented? Pep's experimented from day one of coming in the door. It's the simple fact of it. People like Pep's experimenting. Well, jolly gosh, tell me a new one. When is he not? How many times have we said he's the mad scientist between genius and madness? We all know he floats that line very, very strongly. So, and now all of a sudden, everyone thought Haaland's plug and play. Bring in Haaland. And even I did it at the very beginning. Plug, play, away we go, and all these chances occur and everything else. And it's not that simple. Haaland can't do a false 9. He's not mobile enough. Can he do it in the future? Maybe. But I keep saying this. Aguero was on the verge of leaving the football club because he couldn't do what Pep wanted to do.
Yeah.
It makes me laugh because when we played false 9, fans moaned.
Oh yeah, I remember that. It was like we
get a number 9, and we're trying to figure out how to get the best. And listen, people will say, "Well, he scored all these goals." Yes, but you got to look in the context of all them goals. It was one player supplying all them goals for him, and that was Kevin De Bruyne and Phil Foden at the start of the league. Yeah. Phil Foden's not here at the moment. Again, privacy needs to be looked upon and let the guy get through what he needs to get through. And KDB's gone off the boil.
Yeah.
KDB going off the boil is not a new thing either.
Yeah. He's had his spells. Yeah.
I just think people panic.
Yeah. I'm gonna go to this comment from YSK, and he goes, "Can we take Haaland off though?" And the question is, in instances, yes, we can. However, he should start every game.
You take Messi off.
Great. Now, before they kill you in the chat and say you're comparing Haaland to Messi, no, we're not doing that. But the importance of the player, exactly. The importance of the player is why Haaland, obviously, if it's rotation, he needs some rest because of number of games. That makes sense. But I think the weapon that he is, the threat that he poses, he should start every game. I think what we're clearly seeing, at least what I'm seeing, and I'm going to do a proper breakdown when I do have the chance. But I'm watching these matches and I'm seeing opportunities where he's not being fed the ball. I'm seeing opportunities the same way we want to take our chances, or players are taking their chances with some passes that may be slightly at risk or may not result in getting perfectly to foot for a player. is the same way our team needs to be placing these passes to Haaland. They may not be perfectly weighted. They may not be perfectly in place, but the threat of that pass alone can cause great results,
And it's
can
all
cause
build up now.
opportunities.
It's build up play. There's a
Yeah.
certain way. All I heard after Tottenham was, well, if he just played this ball over the top, he was through. And if he just done that ball, it's through. No, you got to look at it. It's not just a quick ball and Haaland goals. Because number one is what you got to look at is the rest of your team are still in position.
Yeah.
If all your team are out of position and you just play one quick ball, Pepper's explained this. You play one quick ball to Haaland. Haaland misses it because we're all talking like Haaland just automatically runs onto it, scores the goal, and and we're all happy as Larry. But as Pep said, we lose that ball and we're out of position, then you've got a Newcastle situation on your hand where it becomes ping pong football. Yes, it is boring. Yes, it is slow, but it's done for a reason. For now, this is not how we're going to play in the future. Trust me now, in the summertime, we are going to, we're going to go. And you will see when we get players in and everything else. The simple fact is people just have to be patient right now. And if patience is second, yeah, I'll take that. Thanks very much.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like, so what? We're second.
The approach with what Pep's doing, with what City's doing, is obviously an attempt to win. It's not obviously we know the team that's ahead of us right now. They've been in great form, but the form in itself is getting this excess criticism, in my opinion, because we are second, because we aren't top of the league. But the inconsistency with regards to play, we can criticize and want more of, but it's not a dire, crazy, terrible form that we're in. FIFA player keeps mentioning play him false nine. False nine is not the ask of him, and this is my 2 cents. And I don't have Carl, I don't have Martin to kind of go through. I believe he's saying play Haaland in false nine. If I'm wrong, FIFA, let me know because I know I'm behind in the comments.
How?
I believe occupying the space, but having him vacate that 9 position and
do it.
And I agree. I don't think he's at that. I don't believe he's at that level to play it like that. And one would also say, Harry Kane for Tottenham, he's not playing false nine. He's not playing the false nine in the sense that City had done it. He drops in the midfield, but it's not the system that we had. And this is where I say we don't need him to play false nine, is because he's such a dangerous threat just being there, period. But he needs to be played the ball.
To look at Sunday, where was Kane a lot of the time?
Kane was in that. Doing? Kane was in that when they were in our third. Kane was in our box. Kane was in that middle of the pitch.
Now, this is why I've always said, and I got criticised for it. There was a reason Pep Guardiola wanted Harry Kane first, because Harry Kane was a plug and play in terms of he already does what Pep wants him to do. I'm not saying we chose wrong.
No, we definitely didn't.
What I'm saying is that simple fact is Harry Kane was wanted because Harry Kane already does what Aguero did for us.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to adjust so much. With Haaland, it's a period of adjustment.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. And deep down, did Pep want Haaland? If I had to put my hand on my heart and put money on it, I don't think I think he wanted him, but I think he'd have preferred Kane overall. But it is what it is. Mm-hmm. We've landed where we've landed. We've got the best striker in world football for 51 million quid. Yes, I know there's other agents' fees and everything else involved. But the simple fact is, we live in a society when everything's got to be yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody's willing to be patient.
I agree. Let me do this real quick.
Vader game.
I'm just going to adjust this so you guys can see the topics really on the side. And again,
ooh, fun. Here we go.
What's What's been discussed, and I see you guys in the comments. Absolutely love it. I wish I could keep up with it all. This is an amazing problem to have. Let me take you guys back, and I'll just be really brief. I used to do this. I used to do this diary. I used to do the show Why Always Me, and it was me time after work, maybe 10 o'clock in the evening, where I would literally be talking to the screen. I'd have the topic same way, but I'd be talking to the screen. Very little interaction. I've now been able to work it out, so I'm kind of, it's more convenient with regards to UK time zones, and obviously you guys being able to talk, and it's such a great exchange because now we're going back and forth. And I apologize, I can't always keep up with the comments within the chat, but I respect them all, and I do read them all. Now I do want to move on to the topic because I realize that, like clockwork, my phone's going off.
You need to get a secretary, mate. What's going on here?
I do. But like clockwork, let me put up the next topic. One sec.
Hang on a minute. That's just the Vader's fellow lawyer coming in. Just giving him a little bit of, giving him a new case. Have you been called up to that committee? Are you on the panel?
You know what? I think I'm on the short list if anyone needs an extra hand with some of the documents. But
that's where the Premier League are flying over to Canada tomorrow to start going through Vader's house.
All right. So I'm going to be really brief on this because you guys have heard this before, but it leads me into the rest of the conversation. FFP was to protect what? All right, let me see you guys in the comments. FFP was to protect what? We know how it was labeled. Oh, we don't want any club to overextend and to get into jeopardy and have to dissolve or liquidate or perish. So we're going to be putting in these rules to protect them. I know how it was labeled. How it was actually designed was to prevent a owner that had the means to invest to become another challenging threat to the already winning and established clubs. We can go into the fine print, we can go into the details of it, but let's be real. FFP was to protect what? And why did the goalposts, why were the rules continuously adjusted and altered when owners that could prove to show that they could financially support their investment still not be able to make those investments? Now, I see you guys in the comments, and I love it as always. Martin, am I wrong to say that they never wanted City in the neighborhood?
Dim was in the neighborhood, Dim was in the country, Dim was in the stratosphere, Dim was anywhere near.
So, this latest news, how did you first take it? Was it a surprise to you, or was it, I know they never wanted me here?
No, there's no surprise. It's always been coming. No surprise on the reaction from all the rivals. I will say there's a lot of people, a lot of YouTubers that have gone massively down in my estimation. Really, and there was a lot where I would have done a lot of stuff with that. I ain't going to do that with them anymore. Not that I was going to do a lot with some of the big ones, but there's others now. I'm not for it anymore because it's trial by social media, it's trial by YouTube, trial by everything else. I'm not into that crap. Sorry, I'm not. It is everything. The masks have come off, and now people are showing teeth. I watched the overlap earlier on with Stephen McInerney on it. Felt sorry for the guy.
Is it a recent? Sorry,
it was videoed yesterday. It came out today.
Oh, okay.
It was done in Manchester at the Hotel Football. Surprise,
Okay.
surprise. And it was, I felt sorry for Stephen. I thought he was in the lines then, and he was the piece of meat, and they were all just coming having a go. And it was, you're guilty. This is what bugs me at the minute. It's now we're guilty. It's not, oh well, you've been accused. It's we're guilty now. There's even talk of what sanctions are gonna, what should we do? We say it's like, well, all right, we're already guilty then. They relegated us. Liverpool fans are celebrating Steven Gerrard's trophy already. But it's because they've literally read something that's in the Premier League handbook. None of that's going to happen. None of it. So I don't know why they're all getting excited and giddy and everything else. The simple fact of this is, it made me laugh today when I saw United were going to possibly get looked at by Qatari owners. And I'm like, you're just absolutely so two-faced and hypocritical. You have no idea. This is all down to one thing, and we all know what it is. And Gary Neville said it on there. FFP was brought in to stop the likes of Bolton, the likes of Leeds United, the likes of Bury. Great football clubs with great traditions going bust, going bye-bye. And what it's turned into is any club who is state-owned, it is totally against the means. It was brought in for one thing. It's been changed and changed and changed. City have always maintained that they would pass FFP. What happened was, though, every time City were on the verge of passing it or did pass it, the goalposts were all moved for City to failure. So it became from a must-win situation to a must-lose situation. And that's where we're at. And what the Premier League have done, we might as well get into it. It is 115 charges. For the simple fact is, none of it's actually to do with FFP. This is what makes me laugh. When people don't actually look at the charges, it's not really FFP they're looking at. What they've actually accused Manchester City of doing is 9 consecutive seasons of basically lying to everyone. What the Premier League have actually, I don't understand what the Premier League have done here, and I don't think they realised and understand what they've accused City of. They've accused City of something massive.
Yeah.
Not just lying to the Premier League, but lying to HMRC, lying to the lot, lying to every sponsor in the country, lying to every sponsor that there is, lying to every single person.
Yeah. And I want to go back to the point that you made about how other people that talk football, no matter what the space is, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, whatever, for all of them that are already applying guilt and are showing some really displaying some very bad looks, in my opinion. I believe they.
It's not even banter.
It's not banter. It's not banter because you can hear the venomness. You can hear the hate,
giddiness.
right?
You can hear the giddiness in them.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I believe many of them think that they can just go back. Like, oh, I said it, but I take it back. This is the problem that I have. And again, I'm not a vengeful person, not at all. But I do remember how I am treated when things are good and when things are bad. And yes, this is directed to my club, but in turn, for my friends in those circles, for some of them with how disrespectful they've talked about the club before something's even been decided, I'm like, whoa, slow down. I'm like, even the banter that I've exchanged with them has been club level. It's been owners and their mistakes. It's been, poor decisions that have happened in games. It's been, hey, why would you not want City at the table to compete. Like, let's have a proper conversation. The way this news came out and the way they reacted and the way they started demanding things before anything's even been decided, I'm not going to forget. And going back to your show when Ozzy and Alan were on, and I think it might have come across where maybe I wasn't in agreement with Alan, but when he was saying that when the results come in, and again, if there's 100 plus alleged breaches, I'm not going to sit here and say that City are not at fault at any of them. There may be these alleged breaches, like we've gone through some of the lists, that in my eyes they don't impact equal competition. They don't impact affecting the spirit of competition. Some of these alleged breaches are kind of procedural. They're kind of
It's throwing paint at a wall and hoping some mistakes.
Yeah,
What it
but
tells me is they have no clear evidence.
yeah.
So they've literally thrown everything at Manchester City for the last 15 years. Everything's gone. It's we cannot get them on anything. So what we're going to do is charge them with everything we possibly can, and then we'll sort the wheat from the chaff later on down the road. And this is why I genuinely do believe, this doesn't even get anywhere. This will very, very quietly get just moved away, very quietly. There's a lot more into this. You've already seen the UK government have already come out and got involved into this. And because what people don't realise is, yes, there is politics involved in this. The UK government in Abu Dhabi do a lot of business.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll look at, and when you look at a lot of the businesses that the UK do, when you actually delve down into it and look at who the chairman is of all these businesses, it's actually Khaldoon Al-Mubarak, who's actually gifting or financing a lot of things that are going on. So are the UK government really going to play with fire down that road? Are they really going to do that? I don't think so. But what this will be, I understand there is a lynch mob mentality and they've all got the pitchforks and the fire and everything's out at the moment. I understand that. And I get Alan's point the other day. I think I came across wrong the other day. People thought I was saying that Alan was wrong, saying we should go after every single club in the Premier League. I get that mentality. I would love to do that. My issue is we still have to play in the Premier League. If we were going to the Super League and we had no there was no comebacks, I'd agree with it all. Let's go after them. Let's get blood. Let's go. The problem is you can't go at the end of this. We can't then start suing every single club. Where do we go and do business then?
Yeah.
Where do we go?
Yeah.
You can't go and get homegrown from Italy, homegrown from Spain. Listen, I'm behind it. Let's go for every single one of them. But then when you want a player out of that club 6 months later, it becomes a bit tricky then. And you know what I mean? But where'd you go? So I think the way this ends is it will quietly go away. There will be a conversation between the Premier League and CETA, and it will all be like we did with UEFA. Sefrin came out very after the Cass case and said, yeah, our relations are good now. We've had a chat, and that's what will happen with the Premier League.
Yeah. And I get the fighting because there's going to be protecting and managing and reestablishing reputation, because this news on Monday, 100 alleged breaches and just how it hit, it did negatively affect City, the brand, and everyone, not only owners, but those that run the club, those that work for the club, and the fans themselves, and celebrate it. I heard Rivals fans want to take away celebrations and take away results and take away moments. Like, let's slow down. I want to deal with this topic from Mac. He goes, or this question from Mac. He goes, if City and let's say Chelsea restructured the idea of United and Liverpool's Super League idea, would you back it? to go back to the point that Martin mentioned in terms of fighting the league and one wrong or two wrongs making a right. The Premier League, the English-based clubs, and the fight and battle that they have, that's where this started for me. It started with that competition, with that rivalry. It wasn't, for me, the love of this competition, the love of the teams playing against each other wasn't a global one. It wasn't a Super League love for it, right? Like my humble beginnings for it. So I don't know.
This is what the white paper is, Beta, to stop the Super League.
Yes, I know. There's a lot.
Innit?
Yeah, I know. There's a lot there, but Mac, I wouldn't. Not in its form, in its simplest way. Let me get to these comments, and I realize, wow, we went through this time wise. But Blue Heart goes, in truth, it's like public stoning and hanging. In the Wild West, these individuals would be called a lynch mob. 100%. They went out with pitchforks and torches, and they were out for blood. They were ready for it. So I kind of let it pass its course. I interacted where I could, but this is something that that I've kind of learned over the years is sometimes you just have to let the fire burn itself out.
I know you're reading the comments. When you've done that, I just want to something I want to say. I know you've not got a lot of time, just to sort of calm everyone down.
All right. Clinical goes, there's logic. Their logic is 100+ accusations automatically means guilty or everything, and we're finished. A great point, Clinical. And this is where I'm not gonna be dismissive, but I don't want to be arrogant here. But if what does come out is what I would call infractions, what I would call minor fines, what I would call things that don't impact the spirit of competition, I'll accept that. And if fans, if rivals are going to label my club as cheats for those, that's on you. I find it highly hypocritical that these alleged breaches, these regulation rules, are not in error of other clubs within the league. The silliest one in terms of like a drug testing room not being to proper size, or the grass not being a proper height, or not disclosing the number of people that need to attend a general meeting. I would think that many clubs do that. So I'm calm with that stuff. Thank you, Clinical. Daniel goes, Sam Lee said on the overlap that Man City is generally calm about the situation. I haven't watched it yet, but I will. I'll listen to it.
Calm. They are so calm on this. They're actually welcoming it.
That was within my thumbnail. We talked about the alleged breaches, and I said for City to welcome this, because again, with anything, just get everything on the table. Let's expose it. Then it's over. Then we move on from it, right? So but I think that the FA being so short-sighted to have to delay this white paper and their effort to go after my words, low-hanging fruit, go after City, because City's been in the news for this before. Let's go and show how tough we are. This then exposes how you need to be putting the same magnifying glass, the same attention to detail with all these other clubs. Are you trying to tell me there's no statute of limitations as I'm being told? You're trying to tell me that the rest of the clubs are squeaky clean? You guys need to relax. And to Martin's point, this is why I think this independent committee, or how it's going to be dealt with, it's going to be closed doors, it's going to be private, because it's going to be, what is the best way that we can do this to not tarnish the league when it's all said and done, because they made a mistake with how they went about it. Man, let me go through these Blue Heart goes, hopefully the City lawyers will cut through all Premier League BS and show them up for what they are. I agree. Abdallah goes, I hope we bet. I don't hope for that, but I know the sentiment. Abdallah, I'm with you.
Yeah, again, a lot of that's anger at the minute.
Blue Heart is Vader picking up his Oscar later this evening. Hey, thank you for. I had a great time on HH's show. I look forward to having more fun like that moving forward.
You confused him. I noticed you confused him when you went on.
I did. It took a while for it to be
He's
like,
like, what?
what's happening here? Daniel goes, what people don't realize is that football is a business. It's not about guilty or not guilty, or
Spot
owners
on.
and or club have a lot of power in a relationship. Yeah, and there's tremendous relationships that are going to have to be
Hey,
properly
look
managed.
at the lawyer we've got. This is the
Oh
guy
my
who
gosh.
got Boris Johnson off. If you can
It's gonna
get
be
Boris
long.
off, you can get anybody off. Sorry,
It's
and I
it's
ain't
gonna be
Boris's
long.
fan.
I hear
So,
you. Exactly.
trust me, if Boris can get away with this guy, so can we.
I'm
And
wearing
it's
a
not even
suit.
get away. Sorry, I'm not even using
No, I know
the
what you mean. No, I know what you mean.
word.
Hey, I'm wearing the suit with regards to these 100 alleged breaches and the seriousness of it. Blue Heart saying looking good. Thank you.
He's got a job interview. You just don't let him lie to you.
It's gonna be long. There's gonna be a lot of lawyers, a lot of city lawyers doing their part. And if I need to be one of them, I'm there for the club. Um, uh,
All right, Daniel, calm down. Daniel getting all going.
too much. If the British government stop a super league, it will be the first thing they have stopped in a long time.
True.
You can say that, I can't, because I'm not over there, but I'm with you.
We're not going down the UK government road.
Yeah. I'm not touching that. I'm not touching that. Thank you for the comments. Apologies if I've put them up briefly, but City are hardly going to admit they are bricking it. How many of the board are City fans?
Could say that
There's-
about everyone, though, couldn't you?
Exactly.
How many people are fans of all, like at Leeds or at Burnley or whoever?
Mac, shout out to that. Thank you for that update. I will get to the game after this show. To close out,
Why are they playing tonight, may I ask? Why is that game suddenly been brought forward?
I don't know. It's very
United
odd.
are a game in hand on us then. I don't know how they've. I don't know how that one's been
It's very odd. Let me do this properly.
Vader game.
And I think it's fitting, as Martin mentioned, that he wants to kind of like level set, reset, and calm everyone down. So let me put this on screen, and I'll give you your time.
Yeah, it's just listen. City are not going to get relegated. There is no relegation. There is no titles coming off us. When you start talking titles coming off, that's a criminal matter, aka the Juventus situation. But we're not talking that sort of thing. 35 of the 115 are non-compliance because City didn't trust. We'll get a fine for the non-compliance. Listen, we will get fined. It'll probably be a record fine. This is why I think it all just gets swept under the carpet eventually. This is not going to take 5 minutes. This is going to take 2, 3, 4 years.
Yeah.
You are talking so long down this road. Do you think City are going to stand still? Do you think they're standing still? Do you think this summer they are not going to go out and rebuild this squad again? Because they're all scared of what's going to come later on. Because even if the worst comes to the worst and we go and get a Bellingham, let's just say worst case scenario, we're relegated. All you do is you say to a player, quite simply, we'll stick a release clause in. A nice low release clause to give you a get out if this does go tits up. So there you go. There's your out to your players. Don't think I'll even get to that. Just because you've got it in doesn't mean you have to use it. City are going to rebuild this squad. City know we've got players 31, 32, 33. You think we're just going to sit back and allow Manchester City to have a slow, painful death?
Right.
These are very, very proud men. What we have to do now, this is not an attack on Manchester City in terms of football. This is an attack on Manchester City in terms of heritage. This is a personal attack. This is everything that Manchester City stands for is being attacked right now. We are under siege. What we do is now, because I tell you what you'll see on Sunday, you'll see the Etihad absolutely bouncing come Sunday. We will boo the Premier League anthem. We'll do everything we can. We'll do our part. I
Yeah.
beg City fans, stop. It's up to you, but stop going in rival spaces. Stop going on rival channels because you ain't going to get what you want out of that. All you are going to get is your cheats, your this, your that. You're getting relegated. Steven Gerrard's getting a medal. Solskjaer's getting his medal. So what's the point?
Yeah.
You're hung, drawn, and quartered before you go in. Just City till we die. Keep it nice and calm. City will do the business. They will carry on. Trust me now, at Manchester City, it's business as usual there.
And this is what I want to stress to close out the show. Moments like these is where you want everyone to galvanize and fight. You internalize everything. You fight for your club. You fight for your team. You fight for your players. You fight for your manager. You fight for your owners. So get it. More information needs to come out. But during this time, and we can only imagine what it's like for these players, what it's like for these coaches, the manager to prepare for these matches, right? They got to compartmentalize. And we as fans need to be strong for them as well. We need to be strong for them. And this is why I want to stress City till I die. And it's not just a motto. It's not just a saying, guys. It's how we live. And I'm really disappointed with the news that came out. But then the silver lining is I'm excited to see how we're stronger for it. So, man, this hour and 8 minutes flew by. The topics, I'm glad it looked like you guys enjoyed them based off of the reaction within the comments, and I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful for it. I'm going to continue to do my best to add some creativity and flow. I do this once a week, but if work permits, I would do more. Trust me, I would definitely do more. I enjoy being featured on the Mancunian Way and Pitch Points and True City Fan when I can. So everyone in the chat, from those of you that just commented recently, Big Morgan, Blue Heart, Otuma, I'm going back to YSK, Edison, Daniel, Mac, I think if I didn't mention you earlier, Clinical, Abdallah, the list, incredible, guys. Thank you so much. I'm going to do, and actually I need to apologize. With the news, I did not do my series of thank yous for the 200 plus subscribers that I currently have. I owe you guys that, and I will be posting that very soon. But I want to thank you all for today's show. Why Always Me, episode 66. And like always, first things first, my peeps come first. You guys were in the comments early before I wasn't even live. I'm sure you guys gave me love with the likes. Thank you so much. And we'll be back next week with another show. Martin, thanks for being on the show this week. And I want to shout you out. Check out his content. His details are always in the description of my video. So check him out. Give him a sub if you haven't already. And this is Vader Game.
We're going back to football to motivator.
Yes, we're talking football, proper football. No more suits. Back to the hoodies, and we're going to be talking football.
Put it to bed now. Back of your minds. And let's get on. And you know what? What better way is sticking it in their face and lifting that Premier League trophy this year?
Oh, man. It would be amazing. It would be amazing.
Let's do the treble. Screw it. Let's do it all this year and really get in them.
They would hate it. Oh my gosh, they would hate having to hand us that trophy. Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna sound like Braveheart here, but I'll tell you what, they can take everything away. Hey, I've got to behave on my channel. I'm the host. I'm not the host on this one. But listen, at the end of the day, they can take everything they want from Manchester City, but they'll never take us away. They'll never take that moment of Aguero out of my head. They'll never take that moment of Villa out of my head. They'll never take away that 99 moment. They'll never take away that FA Cup against United and then Stoke. They'll never, ever take any of that away from me or from any of us. Our club's under 100%. Attack, and we now defend it to the hilt. And that's what we've got to do, is screw them. We're not criminals. This is not a criminal case. We're not money laundering frauds. They're accusing us of breaking a few little rules in their little rule book that, may I add, has been changed about 3,000 times in the process. But that's all it is. You know, it's not. Screw them. We'll win.
We will. And on that note, check me out next show. Subscribe if you haven't. Like the show if you haven't.
Share
check
this
it out.
legend around. He deserves it. Get him up to 500 subs.
Thank you, guys. I'm Vader Games. This is Martin Mancunian Way. This was another episode of Why Always Me. Catch you guys next week.